There's this thing that happens when you know exactly what you should do and you still don't do it. And I've been having this conversation a lot lately, so I want to share this too. You're not confused, you're not lazy, and you do not lack discipline. We don't need more discipline. We need more alignment because you're tired. And I want to talk about why that happens using a framework from Jonathan Haidt called the elephants and the rider. Once you see this, a lot of the shame that we hold, that you might hold, that I held, falls apart. So here's the idea. You have an elephant and you have a rider. The elephant is your emotions, your instincts, your identity, your fear, your joy, your gut. It's big. It's powerful. It moves slow, but when it moves, it moves. That's the elephant. Yeah? The rider is your rational mind, the planner, the explainer, the part of you that makes PowerPoints about why the suffering is strategic and why we need to stay the course, why we need blinders. And here's the part that we get wrong, that I got wrong. The rider actually does not drive. I used to think, especially when I first read this theory, that the rider, obviously you're sitting on top of the elephant, so you're the one that's going to navigate it. And the rider gives direction. However, the elephant provides the force. Now, obviously, like if you see me, right? If you see me and I get on top of an elephant, like, yeah, maybe I could steer stuff. By the end of the day, the elephant is going to overtake, right? So, which means if the elephant isn't on board, no amount of logic is going to save you. And I like to think of the elephant as the elephant in the room. It's obvious, it's taking up space, everyone feels it. But we spend so much energy pretending it's not there. We ignore discomfort. We rationalize misalignment. We explain away exhaustion. And we call that maturity. We say, yeah, that's the right thing to do. But the truth is, the elephant doesn't disappear because you ignore it. It just keeps carrying the weight quietly until it can't. And literally, that's why I lean into this, because the elephant's in the room, right? And here's where exhaustion comes in. Most people don't lose faith or hope, clarity, or motivation because something got hard. I think we like to tell the narrative of you're lazy. No, I don't think it's about laziness. I think people lose faith and hope and all these things because it stayed hard for too long. Because when you're tired, you don't think clearly. You make short-term decisions and you start questioning things you once knew were true. Not because they stopped mattering, because your nervous system is tapped out. Rest is needed. And exhaustion comes from when the rider, us, keeps forcing direction. The elephant keeps swallowing how it actually feels. And over time, that's not discipline, that's betrayal with like good PR. For me, there were seasons where logic was airtight. This makes sense. This is responsible. This is what I should do next. And my elephant was quiet. Not because it agreed, because it was tired of arguing, feeling burnt out, undervalued, and even resentful sometimes. It's I'm like, wait, why am I doing this? And sometimes I think that can also come up as feeling stuck, but it's more exhaustion than stuckness. And I think it's important not to lose faith in yourself and myself when these moments happen, or even the direction, because it's more about losing capacity and then learning how to regain that capacity. I think that's an important distinction. And some of you watching this, you didn't quit because you were weak. You didn't fall because you lack grit or resilience. You didn't stop believing because you don't care. You've been carrying something too heavy for too long without listening to the part of you that's been signaling it. So your elephant has been doing unpaid emotional labor. And we know we know there are limits to that. Right? And so I want to really explore that deeply, because I think sometimes we lean so heavily onto our direction and we believe that our rider is who's really driving the show. When in actuality, our rider is not driving the show. If logic keeps losing, stop arguing with it. Ask what the elephant is protecting you from. Make moves that feel safer for you rather than smarter. And what I mean by this is I feel like what feels smart for me right now is like, let me make sure my bank account is at this level. Let me make sure I have this number of projects in my belt so I people see me as being productive. Let me make sure X, Y, Z. And by doing all this, yes, I'm being productive, but it's not really what my elephant wants. And I'm taking on projects, or I've taken on projects that my elephant doesn't want. So I get exhausted easily. And then what happens is that you end up stopping it. So you look around you and it feels like a graveyard of all your ideas and your projects, when in actuality, it's a constant reminder to you that you're not in alignment. And you need to have a conversation with your elephant. You need to have a conversation with your elephant so that way the job, the career that you're going toward is aligned. And I talk a lot about how I don't believe in dream jobs. So I think dream jobs are what society has packaged to us as what's good, what's real, but then our bodies know what's good for us. Our body knows what's good for us. Right? So I just want to reiterate that sometimes when we lean into our rider rather than our elephant, it doesn't work for us. And that's where career pivots and things of that come into play, because we stop performing alignment. And we stop overriding the elephant. Because the cost of pretending logic alone will not save you. So just to recap, the elephant is your emotions, your instincts, your identity, your fear, your desire. The rider is logic and planning and your storytelling brain. The elephant is big, visible, and inconvenient, and we keep pretending we don't see it, but it's the thing that actually is moving us. The rider has direction, not force. The elephant has momentum, and it's what keeps us going. Okay? So, that I think that the whole idea of elephants is really crucial, and it's helped me quite a lot. Alignment isn't always about ease, it's about sustainability. And if you don't listen to the elephant early, exhaustion will force the conversation later. Your rational mind is not broken, it's just not the driver. And sometimes I think the bravest thing I can do, is to stop explaining and trying to rectify stuff and just start listening to our bodies. I will see you all tomorrow. Subscribe for more of these frameworks to help us really break out of the rat race.